And we're live.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah O'Brien, and I'm the author of Bliss Behind the Mask. I'm also a meditation teacher and a teacher of spirituality. And today, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And it's so nice to be here with you. And there's a reason why we're here together. I don't know what your reason is, but I know what mine is. So I want to tell you a little story about why I am here today. Maybe take a deep breath with me for a minute. Thank you. Memorial Day, 1991, I drank myself to death. It was inevitable. Everyone could see it coming. I was so consumed for so many years with so much negativity. I was full of guilt and blame and shame, right from when I was just a little girl. And over the years, this just spiraled out of control. And when I got older, I had absolutely zero self-esteem. And so I ended up going down a very dark, dangerous road. And I just drank myself into oblivion. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to feel. So I just stayed numb. Until that fateful day when I OD'd on pills and alcohol. And that day, while I was lying there waiting to die, the doctors gathered my family together and told them there was no hope. The Red Cross made all the arrangements to have my son, who was a Marine in the first Persian Gulf War, come home to be with me to say goodbye. Everyone gathered around me and surrounded me with love. And my uncle, the priest, Father Bill, gave me the last rites. But in my head, all I could hear was this screaming, vindictive voice saying, "You loser, look what you've done to your children. You could never do anything right." And this voice had been with me my whole life. This vindictive voice was screaming in my head all the time. And that day, I just couldn't listen another second longer. So I just closed my eyes and I slipped away. But I woke up and I was lying on a cold, hard table. And I didn't know how to pray because I couldn't think. But I thought, I didn't care whether I lived or died. I thought I would just let God decide. And then all of a sudden, the words, "Thy will be done," started playing in my head like a broken record over and over again. Thy will be done. And with those words, somehow I surrendered. And then the next thing I noticed was the sound of my breath. It was like someone else was breathing for me. It was just so nice listening to the sound of my breath. The gentle rhythm was soothing me, and I relaxed. And after a little while, I didn't hear anything at all. There was just silence, a beautiful silence. And it felt like serenity was all around me. And in this beautiful state of stillness, I felt completely present in the moment. I couldn't think. I just was. And I laid there in that present moment without a thought, just in a state of nothingness. After a little while, I started to feel a tingling in my toes and in my fingers too. And then there was a vibration, like a throbbing in my groin. And the sensation of the vibration got stronger and stronger. And when it got to my stomach, it felt just like a flutter, like a whole bunch of butterflies were in my stomach. And there was a very exciting feeling. And the vibration seemed to get stronger. And when it got to my heart, I started to fill up with a sense of gratitude like I had never felt before. All of a sudden, I knew I wasn't dying. I was coming alive. And this gratitude for coming alive was growing and growing, even though it seemed like I didn't even care if I lived or died before. Now I was like feeling like so alive, like I had never been that alive before. And I was so grateful. And then I started to feel like so joyful. I thought I wanted to scream for joy. And the joy just kind of burst. And there I was in this state of bliss. And there are no words to describe what bliss feels like. It's a spiritual ecstasy. It feels like you feel light as a feather and high as the sky. And you're surrounded with your soul and God. And like you're all one, all together. And I was surrounded in this pure white light. And this light was radiating all down through me. And I knew that light was love. And then I realized that love was God. And then, just like that, I felt so amazing. Like, all of a sudden, I felt like I was cherished and adored and valued. And God was filling me up with so much of his unconditional love that I felt so special. Like for the first time in my life, I felt really, really loved. And it was amazing, amazing love, because me, with all my flaws, God was loving me like he never loved anyone else like me. This amazing feeling went on and on. And the more it went on, I was just filled with love. And that void inside of me was filled. And then all of a sudden, it was just peace. And I laid there in this wonderful peace. It felt like such calm, like it couldn't, like if my world was collapsing all around me, it couldn't take away that calm from me. It was just beautiful. And that was the day that my life was transformed. Those 10 stages I went through brought me to a life of sobriety. 3 weeks after that, I was discharged from the hospital. And then I went into a treatment center for alcohol. And the first thing I was told when I got there was that I had to start to learn how to love myself. I had to learn how to forgive myself and stop beating myself up. And now that wasn't going to be easy because I had been beating myself up for a long, long time. So I kept thinking back to that day in the hospital and thinking how much God loved me with all my flaws. Who was I that I couldn't love myself? And I started thinking, if he could love me, there's no reason why I can't love me. And if he could forgive me, why can't I forgive me? So one day at a time, my body began to heal. Every day I got a little better. But it wasn't until I learned how to meditate that my soul found what it was really yearning for. And that was like the beginning of a whole new way of life. You know, meditation just completed my life. My life was transformed, but the meditation brought me to new heights of happiness and peace in my life. And I started meditating like 10 minutes a day, but gradually it increased to meditating twice a day. So after a few years, I was meditating every day. And one day when I finished meditating, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. The very same stages that I went through that day I was in the hospital dying are the same stages of meditation. The surrender, the breath, the listening, the silence, the stillness, the present moment, the rising of vibrations, the bliss, and the peace of being in his presence was all the same. And then I knew everyone can have a spiritual awakening. You don't have to be on your deathbed. You can have it anytime. And all you have to do is go within. And I would love everyone to learn how to do this. So I made it my mission to teach women, especially because we are so hard on ourselves, how to take off that mask and go within and find the bliss that's waiting for us deep within ourselves, so that we don't have to look for it everywhere else. Because I don't want anyone else to make the mistakes I made or to suffer like I did. You don't have to. You don't have to go there. It's never too late. I want you to know there is a way out. I know I used to feel there was no way out, but there is. And it is the way to get out of that mess in your life is to go within and start to look inside yourself. And you'll be surprised. In no time, you will learn to love yourself. You really will. You can say goodbye to all the guilt and the shame. And you can start releasing all your negativity every day. Because when we release all that negativity, the good vibrations can rise. And when the good vibrations get high, you come to bliss. And you don't want to miss it. It's something that you'll really love to experience. And it will change your life forever. And I know your life can be transformed if you want it to. All you have to do is go through these 10 tools. Use these stages as tools for transformation. So from now and the next 10 weeks, every week I'll be talking about a different stage. Next week we'll start with surrender. That's the first one. And you know, surrender is the key to opening the door to bliss. So you want to make sure to come back next week and hear about that, because that's really the secret, the surrender. And you don't want to find that out the hard way. So I hope you'll be able to come back next week or listen sometime when you can, so that you can get an idea how to let go of all your negativity and be able to release it and fill yourself up with joy. You know, you're so special and you don't even know it. There's no one else like you. You're one of a kind. So give yourself a chance. Stop beating yourself up. Here it is Monday. And how many of you woke up this morning and got on the scale and got all angry with yourselves for gaining some weight back over the weekend? Oh, how many of you woke up this morning with a hangover and beat yourself up for having one too many drinks? Or how many of you went shopping over the weekend and you just had to spend more than you could because there was something you were craving inside that you needed to fill? So we all do these things because we're hungry. But there's no amount of food or booze or pills or drugs or sex or shopping. There's nothing that can fill that void. The only thing that can is that unconditional love. And that's what your soul is hungry for. And that's your soul, when it sends out those hungry signals, it's trying to tell you. It wants a relationship with you. They want you to pay attention. You know, not that many years ago, if people heard me talking like this, they would say, you know, she's really crazy. But that's the way spirituality was looked at not that long ago. But today, it's an accepted thing, and it's proven that your life can be so much better when you learn how to meditate. Everything gets better in your life when you go within. So, you know, people can tell you that until they're blue in the face, but until you try it, you'll never know. So I wondered if you would like to try a little meditation today. We could do a short meditation just to see if you like doing it. So why don't you just sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Just be aware of your breath going up your nose and out your nose. Can you feel it? Just keep breathing. Now, when you breathe in love. And when you breathe out, let go of fear. On the inhale, breathe in love. And on the exhale, breathe out hate. Breathe in love. Release blame. Breathe in love. Release resentment. Breathe in love. Release judgment. Breathe in love. Release struggle. Just surrender. Just be aware of your breath. If any thoughts come along, don't worry about them. Just bring your attention back to your breath, going up your nose and out your nose. Good. Now that's just a little taste of quieting your mind and releasing negativity. And you know, you can do this anytime, anywhere you like. If you could be sitting in a traffic jam and getting all jigged up because of the way things are going on all around you, or you could just look around and breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And you could release anxiety. You could breathe in love and release stress. When things aren't going your way, if someone upsets you, you can just turn the other way and breathe in and breathe out. And then taking that moment will help you, instead of reacting to someone, responding to someone, you'll be responding with love rather than reacting and saying something you regret. So it's always good to take a moment and just breathe. You know, we came into this world with our first breath, and we go out with our last breath. So in between, people spend so much time just holding their breath. And that just causes all kinds of physical problems. So practice tonight when you get into bed. Just practice breathing. Just takes a little while till you get used to breathing and noticing the breath going up your nose and out your nose. But after a while, it will really help you to relax. I know, because I never could do it. You know, the only time I ever took a deep breath was on a cigarette. But it's never too late. So I'm glad you came here today, and I hope you're glad too. So goodbye for now, and I hope to see you next Monday. And in the meantime, if you want to call me with any questions, my number is 774-255-0247. And my email is Deborah, Deborah, Towle, Towle, @yahoo.com. And my web is DeborahO'BrienBliss.com. So I'd love to hear from you. If you'd be interested in any kind of help at all, I would be glad to give you a complimentary consultation. And thank you for being here. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
You've been watching BlissFull here on New Earth Broadcasting.